Okay, so I'm Cath O'Neill. I'm a senior lecturer in what is currently the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the things that I do and how I've got to do the things that I currently do. So I started off years ago, sitting where you guys are sitting. So I was a postdoc at Leeds. I went straight into that postdoc from my PhD. I was lucky in that I walked straight into a 5-year postdoc, which was rare even then. But anyway, I've done the postdoc thing. And then after that, I knew that I wanted to work in research. I was passionate about research. I really enjoyed it. But my career journey took me actually to a job within the NHS doing research. And I was an NHS clinical scientist for, I think, 5 years. But I was embedded in a trust that was part of the University of Manchester Teaching Hospitals. So it wasn't a huge move then to go from being an NHS researcher into a university position. So when a university position came up, I applied for that and I was successful in getting that. And then I did various things and eventually got my promotion to senior lecturer. So along the way, I've done various things. So for a long time, I have run an MSc course, so typical kind of academic activity, running an MSc course, teaching, marking, that kind of thing. And I have my research group. I've done things like be the director of postgraduate education for my school, so looking after the PhD students. I've sat on various working parties looking at things like how do we recruit more students from India, that kind of thing. So an academic job is sometimes very, very varied, and it's probably not just what you see your boss doing, because you will only see one side of your principal investigator's life. So we all have many, many different hats that we wear on a day-to-day basis. But a few years ago, I'd been doing some research for various companies like Unilever, Boots, Cussons, quite a few global companies. And I suddenly thought, do you know what? We're doing all this research for these companies, and the university doesn't really get that much out of this, apart from some papers, which are always nice. It's academic currency. I love papers, don't get me wrong. But I thought, actually, can we actually get something out of this for ourselves? So I thought, well, I've got some quite interesting data here, and I can see how this data might have applications for UK PLC. Who here's ever thought about starting their own company? Well, think about it, because I'll tell you, it's a great ride. It's the biggest buzz you'll ever get in your life. So a number of years ago, I had an observation in the lab, and I thought, I can translate this for patient benefit. I can create a therapeutic here. Now, how am I going to do that? So the first thing that I did was I connected with people that could help me with patents, that kind of thing. And then I went out on the road. Who watches Dragon's Den? Does it look scary? Yeah, it is. It's really scary. So I haven't been on Dragon's Den, but I've done those Dragon's Den type presentations. And it's great. It's as scary as anything. I'd rather stand up in front of 1,000 academics and talk about my research than do one of those. But the buzz you get when you come out is phenomenal. So we got some money from doing those type of presentations, and we formed a spin-out company, which we call Curapel, in, I think, 2011. And Curapel's still running. It's at the moment, it's got a therapeutic coming through phase 2 clinical trials. And I enjoyed it so much, I've recently gone back and done it again. So just 3 months ago, we created another spin-out company, which we call Skinbiotics. And I'm very, very much connected with Skinbiotics. I'm currently its R&D director. And I'm so passionate about this technology that I really, really don't want to let it go. So I've negotiated with my head of school to let me have a secondment into my own company. So I now spend a few days each month actually working for the company. So now I've got a really, really mixed academic job. So I've got my teaching, I've got my research, I've got my different committees that I sit on, and I'm actively working in a company. So that's me. How do you want to do this? Do we want to ask questions, or are we passing it on?
Thank you very much, Cath, and she's even made time still to come and It's fantastic. So lots of twists and turns. I think we'll have some questions for Cath specifically, and then Judy, you're going last if you don't mind.
Stunned silence. Hey.
How do you kind of balance all the different roles that you're doing? Kind of when you take on a
So sorry, what's your name? Yeah, so Liz asked me, how do you balance an academic portfolio? So if you're asked to take on something else, do you drop something or do you add it to what you're already doing? So I guess it depends where you want to get to and what you're currently doing. So clearly, if you've already got a very, very full timetable, as it were, personal timetable, if you take on something, you might have to drop something else. So I mean, Judy will tell you, because Judy and I have known each other a long time, I'm the world's worst at dropping something else and moving on, but I'm getting a lot better at it now. So really clever people. I am getting better at it. Really clever people do that. They move onto something that's maybe a bit higher up and drop the things below. I mean, I've been quite lucky in that I've been able to pick and choose a little bit what I enjoy doing. So I've gone from running PGR, so I currently run PGT for my institute. If you get a bit of a reputation for being good at stuff and organising stuff, you get asked to do stuff. And for me, it's been about, oh, that might be interesting. I don't always plan this very well, but I'll do stuff if I think it's interesting and it's really, really worthwhile doing. And I am getting better, despite what Judy says, because I'm having to, because I've got so many roles now that balancing time is a problem. So then it comes down to your own personal view on how hard you want to work as well, doesn't it? Yeah, so in short, a clever person would do just that. They drop one thing and move on to the next. But better not to collect roles, but anyway.
One more question for Cath? Cath, who helped you with the spin out?
Who helped me with the spin out? So principally, the help was through UMIP. Who here has heard of UMIP? It's actually called UMI3 now. Brilliant, that's really encouraging. So I think 18 months ago when I last asked a group like this that question, hardly anybody had heard of UMI3, so that's really, really encouraging. So UMI3 look after the university's intellectual property portfolio. So if any of you have got any ideas that you might want to think about commercialising, UMI3 are the people to go and talk to. So they help me with that aspect of it, protecting the intellectual property, but actually going out there, getting investment in, that's kind of something that you have to do off your own bat. Nobody's going to do that for you. So then it comes down to how much do you want to do this stuff. But UMI3 are really, really good at getting you started along that path and helping